back to my channel. I am your favorite mother of three, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is all about why Christian women or believers stay in their abusive relationships. Oh, run the intro, Jalen! Hold on. Mother is under the weather, clearly. Girl, I can't catch a break. Actually, the truth is, I did catch a break. I drink sorrel every day. Sorrel, okay? If you don't know what that is, it's a Jamaican drink. And my mom makes these big batches of it, and we store it in old wine bottles. And we put it in the fridge and we put it in the cold room. Well, we finished it and I was drinking it every single day. And the last few weeks that my kids have been sick, I wasn't getting sick. But for maybe 2 or 3 weeks now, there's not been any sorrow because we finished it all. And all of a sudden I'm sick again. It's not a conspiracy. The sorrow was keeping me healthy, girl. I said, oh. So now I'm sat here, stuffy, feeling flu-ish again. And I've been telling you guys, my kids have been sick on and off since the school year started. So 3 weeks on, 1 week off. So 3 weeks of the month, whatever month we're in, they're sick. Pink eye, coughing, congestion, runny nose, sneezing, just sick. And then the rest of the time, so 1 week off, they're fine. Nola is teething on top of that, so she had fever and all these things. And I know I'm giving you guys life update right now because that's not what this video is for. But, oh, I didn't lock the door. But everybody's sick again. Yeah? Your bike is too small for you? Yeah. Are you sure? Is it not because you have your dress on? What are you saying? You need a new bike? Yeah. Or you get Stacey's old bike and Stacey get a new bike? Which one?
Mama said I can get a new bike for my birthday.
Your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a while away, but okay.
I want the same bike like same mom.
They probably don't have that one anymore, but I'll try to find you a nice bike.
Yay.
Okay? Isn't she precious? So, I want to talk to you guys today about how Christianity and faith can keep you in an abusive situation for much longer than you're supposed to be. Okay, because the fact of the matter is you're not supposed to be in it at all. But you might be sat at home praying to God about your situation and trying to find, am I supposed to stay? Am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? And I see you, girl. I feel you, girl, because I was there. Okay. So a lot of this is just about the way we've been conditioned. Since the beginning of time, we've been told divorce is bad. Divorce is not good. God hates divorce. Detest it. It's despicable. Okay? Girl, you're not supposed to get a divorce. You're supposed to stick it out, girl. Oh, don't worry. This too shall pass. Girl, they be quoting anything to keep women in toxic relationships. Cut it out. And some men, okay? Because sometimes the woman is the abuser and the man is not. Sometimes the man is the abuser and the woman is not. Sometimes they both abusing each other. Girl, if it's unhealthy, if it's toxic, if it's taking a toll on your actual health, then perhaps divorce needs to happen, right? Separation needs to happen. Because the fact of the matter is, not all couples that separate end up divorcing. That will not be my situation. Divorce, please. Okay? That will not be my situation. We are not separate. We are getting a divorce, okay? But in a lot of situations, people separate. They do their own thing for a little bit and realize it's ghetto out here, so let's just get back together. Because, it was ghetto here, but it's 2 ghetto out here, so let's just do our ghetto, okay? Because the other ghetto is 3 ghetto. No, okay? People kind of just want to choose the lesser of 2 evils. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But as believers, as Christian women, if you label yourself a Christian, it's no secret to you that when you go to church or when you watch a sermon online maybe, or when you even Google about what you're supposed to do. Are you supposed to get divorced? Are you not supposed to get divorced? Is God gonna send you to hell for getting divorced? All these things. When you ask those questions, you're usually ending up more confused than before you ask the question. Because the fact of the matter is, God will tell you the answer if you go directly to the source. I'm not saying not to read your Bible, but I'm just saying if you are even wondering, should I leave my person because they're being abusive, okay? All other issues aside, straight up abuse, whether it's emotional, financial, physical, mental, whatever it is. If your spouse is being abusive to you in any way, it is okay to leave, okay? We're not gonna look at it like it's murder, okay? We're not gonna look at it like it's the biggest sin ever. We're not even gonna consider the fact that all sin is equal, okay? We're not gonna look at it as sin. We're going to look at the facts. Now, for my own personal situation, the reason that this came into play was because I embarked on a spiritual journey, didn't know it was gonna happen, okay? It kind of just happened. And I didn't know it was gonna pose an issue in my marriage, okay, great. It posed an issue in the marriage, and then I'm kind of toggling between God and I'm toggling between my husband. However, God ain't never did me dirty. So there was really nothing to toggle. But I'm trying to understand, like, okay, well now my faith is strengthened, so why is my marriage weakening? I'm like, this don't make no type of sense. So now I'm like, okay, God, I feel like me and you are like this. And I now start praying for my marriage. At the time that I'm praying about my marriage, I am two things. One, in denial that I'm in an abusive situation. Have no idea that I'm in an abusive situation. So I'm praying for God to fix it, not even knowing what exactly I need to be praying for. So I'm praying for the wrong thing, which means I'm out of alignment, okay? The next thing is I'm thinking that I'm supposed to be praying for my partner, which I've always done, 10 years. Of course, I've been praying for this man, okay? So I've always done it, but I'm thinking, okay, well, now that me and God are like this, my husband and God are going to be like this. And then me and my husband are going to be like this. And God is going to be on both sides of us, covering us, So I had the game messed up. I had it confused. And the reason why that wasn't realistic was because your personal relationship with God is just that, personal. It has nothing to do with Tom, Dick, or Harry. It has nothing to do with your mom, your dad, none of that. It just has to do with you and God. So whatever God says that you need to work on is what you need to work on. God is not going to come to you and tell you what your husband needs to work on. You probably know what your husband needs to work on, but God's not coming over to you and telling you what you need to work on. God does that with your husband, whether your husband is listening or not. You know what I mean? So I ended up staying longer than I was supposed to because a lot of the time I would hear God clearly telling me, girl, get your Chanel and get the hell gone, okay? Get up out of there, okay? Go. I'm hearing God clear as day telling me it's up and it's stuck. So I don't know why you keep coming to me, praying to me. I just told you, okay? He gave me the Kanye. I just told you what you need to do. So why are you still sat here praying? I got other things to do, girl. This is literally God talking to me. I got other things to do. And you sat over here asking me again and again and again to save something, to soften your husband's heart, to do all these things. And then after I finished praying and believing, because that's the other part. Like when I pray, I be believing, okay? I be believing. You can't tell me otherwise when I get to praying, okay? Like if I believe my God is gonna do something, oh, he gonna do it, okay? But that only happens when you're in alignment. So if God told me to do something and I'm sat over here asking him to do the opposite, why would he do it? Why would he do it? Make it make sense. Like it doesn't. So like I said, I hear God telling me or giving me the answer that I need to leave the relationship. And I tried, but not hard enough. Okay, so tried to leave, not hard enough, or I'm not even really trying to leave. I'm kind of just suggesting it instead of just actually picking up my cross, okay? So when God tells me to leave the marriage and that it's okay that I leave, okay? Because that's where lines get blurred. We're like, what the Bible says, no, okay? What did God say? To you, specifically, to you, okay? So I'm like, okay, I don't want to leave. There's a million reasons why I don't want to leave. One, obviously, that's not why I got married. You grow up thinking one way. Then when you actually become an adult, you see things another way. And then when you actually start living it, you see things a completely different way. So for me, when I was a child, because of my traumas, I was like, I'm not doing X, Y, Z. Then I become an almost adult and my mind kind of changes. And then I end up doing X, Y, and Z. And then when I get into the actual position of being a wife and a mother, again, my brain is like, whoa, not what I expected. So I think because when I got married, I had already the mindset of divorce is not an option for me. Like, is one and done. I think that paired with my belief system and how forgiveness works ended me up staying in an extremely toxic situation for 3 long, okay? Not even too long, 3 long, because I believed that my partner at the time could change. I didn't believe I was being abused. I also believed that we were supposed to be together. I believed that I wouldn't have been able to have children with somebody if I wasn't supposed to be with them, which is the craziest of the beliefs. It's the craziest because people that shouldn't be together have kids all the time. But for me personally, I just felt like, no, like God would have locked up my womb. Like, it wouldn't go. Okay. But I never struggled to get pregnant. Like I had 3 beautiful babies, like I blink and I'm pregnant kind of thing. Like, so I'm thinking, no, God blessed us. Like he really blessed us. Like, no. So my mind's clouded, And so when God tells me to leave, instead of picking up my bags and leaving, I go to the person he's telling me to leave and I say, hypothetically speaking, what is our game plan if we go our separate ways? What's our game plan? Which is obviously never greeted well, because if a narcissist feels like you are about to discard them, you may be punished. However, I don't know what I'm dealing with. So I'm opening my big mouth and saying things I'm not supposed to say when I've already been instructed. I never went to my pastor to get a revelation about what I'm going through. I didn't have a pastor to go to. I went right to the source, and the source told me, this is what you need to do. And I'm sat here looking crazy because instead of listening, I, try to go all around it because of my belief system. At the core of it, it's my belief system, because I'm thinking, well, God said he would give me the desires of my heart, right? So if my desire is to stay married and be happy with my husband and my kids and be a happy family till death do us part and all these things, then that's the desires of my heart, Lord. Why aren't you giving it to me? This don't make no type of sense. You said that. You said to pray about it. And so because of my belief system and because I'm being gaslit, them two together just ain't going, it's just not going to work, okay? Because then you really can't think straight. And I think a lot of Christian women end up in this position because your church is telling you, the Bible's telling you, stay, work it out. But what are you working out? Sometimes the situation is far beyond repair, And a lot of the time your pastor is abusing his wife. So he can't even speak to the matter. He's going to have you and your husband in counseling of some sort. And he can only say so much because he knows when he's home, he's abusing his wife, whether it be financially, emotionally, mentally, or physically, or all of the above. So what can the pastor who's abusive tell the congregation about abuse? Absolutely nothing, because it's hypocritical. But a lot of pastors do hide behind church. They hide behind the word of God. They manipulate the congregation by teaching the word of God to benefit their own agendas, which is crazy. Because that's not what going to church is about. That's not what worshiping God is about. And so when I found myself in the confusing position of, do I stay? Do I go? Is it okay to get divorced? Is it not okay? Does God hate divorce? That was confusing to me because God I already heard him tell me. I already heard him tell me it was okay to leave, and that when I leave, he's got me covered. So God was really just waiting for me to stop pussyfooting around, period. Because from the minute I left, everything, and I mean everything, got better. And I know for my personal life, like I see God move in my life like crazy all the time. But most of the time when he gives me instruction, I kind of just do it, But where this situation was concerned, I felt like I really just wanted my spouse to be on for the ride. I wanted my spouse to be blessed and highly favored too. But my spouse didn't want to be blessed and highly favored, So I really struggled with being obedient at the time when I'm deciding whether I should leave or not. Now, I was praying till I was blue in the face, and God was sat up there like this, okay? Crossed arms. Girl, I already told you, and I'm not going to tell you again. So then he's silent, and I'm like, okay, if God's not saying nothing to me, I did something. Wrong. What did I do? Girl, you didn't listen. So God's not saying nothing because he already told me. So I'm coming to him. I'm praying to God. God's arms are folded. Okay? And at that point, it's like he's saying, when you're ready to listen and you do what you're supposed to do, I'm going to do what I told you I'm going to do. And so that brings me to how I actually ended up leaving despite all the background noise of Christianity and religion and outsiders. You know, the reason that I was able to finally leave was one, because I had enough, but two, because of therapy. And I will never forget this. I will never forget the day. Can't give you an exact date, actually. Actually, yes, I can give you an exact date. But it was Valentine's Day. Wow. On Valentine's Day of 2021, and it's so crazy that it was Valentine's Day because whatever. I was talking to my mom and a lot had been going on and I was just drained. I was tired and I knew I needed to go, but I was so stuck. And so I grabbed my laptop and I went to sit at my table. And I can't tell you to this day what the frig I typed in on Google. All I knew is that I typed in something about the city that I'm in and abuse and women, and the rest is history. February 14th is a monumental day for me because I went on some website. I don't even know what the website is. If the website's even real, did it exist? Did God make this website for me? Girl, I don't know. I went on this website and there was a little box there and I typed in the box and I pretty much told them I need to get out of my relationship. I have 3 kids. I don't want to expose them to shelter life. Please, I need help. That was it, okay? Because at that point, I had already begged and pleaded with my ex to go. My ex was refusing. So then I had to take matters into my own hands. And so I said, well, he's not gonna leave. I gotta leave. And I didn't know where I was gonna go. I didn't know what I was gonna do, okay? I was essentially, I wasn't in the best place financially. I wasn't. I had stored away some Vex money, but that was all I had. And I knew I needed to go. So I messaged these people. They got back to me within like 24 hours. And from that moment, or from them doing my intake, they then told me in order to, get you the help that you need, you have to complete this program. And it's pretty much where you meet with a therapist, right? So it's completely free, yada, yada, yada. So not only are they gonna help me get out of my situation, but I have now therapy. And so up until this point, I'm slowly coming into the realization that my situation is not normal. Okay, this is not a normal couple fighting, or not fighting, but like a rough patch in a marriage. It's not that. It's not that. So they set me up with a therapist, a psychotherapist, and I start meeting with this therapist that God literally placed in my lap, okay? And from the day that I started seeing that woman and she started giving me the tools that I needed to leave, I probably was on like my 3rd session with her and everything had blown up in smoke. Like everything, like I was like, yeah, no, I was kicking my ex out. It's like, it was like, no, it's a done deal. Like once I started going to therapy and my brain was able to switch off that toggle of should I leave, should I not leave, what should I do, should I not do, that's when things really started to change for the better because of therapy paired with everything that I had been begging and pleading with God for. Because I started my spiritual journey praying for my marriage. By the time that I was gearing up to leave my relationship, I was begging and pleading with God to get me out of the marriage. Now, if you pray to get out of something, but just have no idea how to get out of it, and you're praying to God every day, like, free me, Lord. Free me, God. Okay? You better not go back into that thing. I have prayed my way out of so many situations. And like, when it gets real tough, that's when I really get into my prayer bag, into my prayer closet, and just pray. And so to me, it was just so divine. It was divine timing that the resources were given to me the way that they were given to me, and I didn't have to spend a dime for them, and the end result was exactly what I went in for. And so I'm gonna do a video where I talk about my therapy goals, like the day that I met my therapist, what I told her my goals were, and then 7 months later, what ended up being the case. But what I feel is the most ironic thing about therapy being the thing paired with my prayers that got me to safety is that a lot of the people that are in the church and a lot of the people that are Christians or religious and follow certain kinds of rules and regulations, okay, that they've been conditioned to follow, a lot of those people don't believe in therapy. The thing about it is therapy is there to heal you, help you, and to get your mind right. One of the biggest things that they teach in church, oh, thank you, Jesus. One of the biggest things that they teach in church is that the enemy is after your mind. So if you're in an abusive situation that is completely clouding your common sense, okay, your judgment skills, everything. And then you can't get your mind right, which is what essentially the enemy wants, your mind. Then how the hell are these people telling the congregation they can't do therapy or not to go to therapy? Therapy is to get your mind right. So if you can get your mind right, then you can hear God clearly, then you can walk through life a lot easier. These days, I don't do a whole lot of panicking, okay? Like, if God tells me it's going to be one way, I just have to believe it and not stress about it. You know what I mean? Like, because I have seen him work. Like, I don't think you guys get the miracle that this whole entire, like, the way the situation has played out for my life is crazy. And that's how I know it's God, because it's like, it's too perfect. Like, it went off without a hitch. It was too perfect. It had to be God. And it's not one of those things where, like, if it's too good to be true, then it probably is. No. It's like he had me every step of the way. And every time I put the puzzle pieces together, dating back since 5 ever ago, I know it's God. And he gets all the credit and all the flowers. And I'm just so grateful and thankful that I got into therapy, because once my mind was clear and once I actually could articulate what I'm experiencing, and my therapist can say back to me, okay, this is this and this is that, and I'm now clear-headed and I'm not wondering or questioning it anymore. Like, am I in an abusive relationship? Is this abuse or is this normal? Is he just having a bad day? Like, what is this? I'm asking God, and God is telling me, but the therapist confirms it. Because a lot of the time, we just need confirmation. That's all we're looking for. And so this is your confirmation, girl. It's okay to get divorced, okay? If the relationship is abusive in any way, it's okay to get divorced. Do not be stuck in no type of relationship that is sucking you dry, that is changing your brain chemistry. Like, I am traumatized. I just, like, literally. So the fact that my mind was played with so much was enough to be able to say, yeah, no, this ain't it. Because, like, why are you playing with somebody's head? Like, that's craziness. Like, no. And then to be sat there questioning yourself is the even crazier part, because it's like, well, I know that I said that and you said that, so why are you switching it now? You know, like, why are you switching it now? And then they say, I'm not switching it, and try to tell you said something that you didn't say, and then you're like, whoa, I didn't say that. And it's just chaos all the time. That's why I'm so, like, I so encourage therapy, because a lot of the time these people are going to their pastors, who are not therapists, by the way, for therapy, which is okay sometimes, but not really. Okay, he's giving you maybe some advice. He's giving you Botox. Okay, like, I am not a therapist, so I'm not giving anybody any advice that, is, has a stamp of some stamp of approval on it. Like, I don't know. I'm just giving you advice. But, like, if your pastor is not an actual therapist, you need to actually have a therapist. Okay. It's okay to go talk to your pastor, but you also need to talk to a therapist, and talk to your therapist about what's going on, and let your therapist provide you with the tools that you need to navigate. Because I can promise you that even if God hates divorce, he also does not like to hear us crying at night. He does not like to, when we cry, he cry. So if your man just beat you down and God hears you crying, God is up there crying, because he's like, why? Not my baby. Okay. And when you leave, he will deal with your partner. When you leave, he will deal with your partner. He's not gonna deal with your partner while your partner's still under the same roof as you. That doesn't make any sense, because it might come back onto you. Okay, somebody might take their bad day out on you. So God just waits for us to be obedient. And so the other part about why Christian women or women that believe are stuck in these types of relationships is because of shame, which shouldn't exist. And also because when the topic of divorce comes up in the Bible, and it's not in there a lot, it's not like we have a full like book on it. There's like a couple scriptures, okay? When it comes up in the Bible, they quote it and manipulate it and make it something that it's not, which is why it's so hard to get the answer that you're looking for. But the fact of the matter is, when we're thinking about divorce or thinking about divorcing somebody because they are wronging you in some way, we have to stop looking at the same scriptures that they've been quoting over the years. And we need to start looking at David and Goliath. Because if your marriage is some sort of Goliath, okay, that would make you David, okay? And what do you need to do? Slay that thing, okay? Slay it. Put an end to it. David didn't tuck the Goliath in for a little nap, okay? He killed him. It was God, but it was David. And he killed it. And that's that on that. David was small. Goliath was huge. If your marriage is a Goliath and it is trying to kill you, you need to kill it. And that's just that. Like, there's no like if, ands, or buts about it. I don't get it. And I'm specifically, there's lots of relationships that can be fixed, okay? But abuse is not one of them. If the person is abusing you, there's no fixing that. They need to go fix themselves. And they need to go do it by themselves, be alone, whatever they need to go do to fix it, they need to just go do that. But a lot of the times, an abuser is not going to leave the person that they're abusing. They usually stick around and do as much damage as possible. That's what they do. That's why a lot of these cases end up in death, because the women or whoever is being abused does not leave for a number of reasons. And until you're in it, you just don't understand it. Like, until I was in it, I didn't understand. Okay, well, and then when I look back and say, okay, I tried to leave then, I tried to leave then, I tried to leave then, I tried to get him to leave, then I tried to get him to leave again. The math is not mathing. Why does it take so many times to try to leave? And when you start throwing the Bible in there and trying to rationalize abusive behavior, and the other thing that they love to talk about is forgiveness and Jesus in the 70 times 7 thing, baby, 70 times 7 is 490, okay? And I was with my ex for 10 years. So let's take 490 and divide it by 10. There's 365 days in a year. 490 divided by 10 is 49. So 49 days a year for 10 years. That's 70 times 7. And I feel like I have done above and beyond 70 times 7. I only got 2 cheeks to turn, okay? We turn this cheek and this cheek, then I'm onto the booty cheeks, and once I turn the booty cheeks, I'm out of cheeks. So how many times is too much? How many times is too many? I can only forgive so much. Like, first of all, it shouldn't even be that you even get to the 490. I shouldn't have to forgive you 490 times. That's the whole point. So yes, Jesus did say 70 times 7. And then the other thing is they didn't change that in the Bible. The audacity. They changed it to 77 times because whoever was like, listen, 490 times is crazy. We're going to bring that down to 77. They're not even going to blink an eye at it. Like, they don't care. 77 times is crazy. 49 times is crazy. I shouldn't have to forgive anybody that many times. And of course, over a 10-year span, you're going to do some forgiving. But it's like, what are you forgiving? And also, if I forgive you for it once, that means you shouldn't do it again. But if the person that you're forgiving keeps doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you're like, when are you going to stop? And they're just like, when you stop forgiving me. Maybe that's on you. Like, that was literally on me because I was turning all the cheeks, girl. I was making up cheeks that I didn't even have. I was doing too much forgiving. And that was my biggest downfall. Because if you're moving the post all the time and changing the boundaries and blah, 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 saying this could never be me, and then it's you, and then you're like, okay, well, this could never be me, and then it's you again, what are you doing? And that was me. But if I didn't confuse things and start looking at my Bible and what other Christian women were saying, because I saw a lady that was married for like 20 or 40 years and decided she gonna stay, baby. She gonna stay with her man. And because God hates divorce, but she's deteriorated inside. She's like empty now because of the abuse. And refuse to leave. Okay, well, just like the Israelites, baby, if God tell y'all one thing and you gonna do, like, you're gonna do another thing, that's between you and the other thing that you're doing at that point. God is just gonna sit and wait. And now it's taking you longer to do things that could have been done in 5 minutes. It's taking you 50 years, which is crazy. That's not supposed to happen. But it does because we fail to listen to God when He's giving us the answers directly from the source. I never had to reference my Bible. I needed to reference common damn sense. They need to make a common sense Bible. Is that a thing? I'm going to make a book called the Common Sense Bible. Is he abusing you? Check here, yes or no. If the answer is yes, the solution is to leave. This is for Christian people only. Or believers only. Because once you start trying to justify the behaviors or try to understand the behaviors or look at your spouse the way that God sees them, because that's really what I did. I was like, okay, I'm just trying to see him how you see him, Lord, because right now the way that I see him, I know. Well, and then I said, well, I don't know how God sees him. I don't. So I'm going to stop trying to see this man how God sees him, and I'm just going to see him for what he is. Okay? Because me trying to see somebody how God sees them is hurting me more than it's helping me. And that's not always the case. We should look at people the way God sees them. But also, if you are trying to so hard to see the person how God sees them, well, maybe God just sees them how you see them too. Food for thought. Food for thought. Because people really just are how they are. And God is not pleased with men berating their wives. God is not pleased with men hitting their wives. God is not pleased with men not providing for their families. God's not pleased with any of that stuff, okay? And they'll have to answer to that. But like, they can do that on their own time. When it comes to you and your mental health and your safety and your peace, that's between you and God. And so until God sees that you're serious about it, you're going to sit there like a lapdog, okay? You're going to sit there. I was sitting there because I wasn't ready, because I was trying to convince myself that no, there's no way God told me to divorce this man. There's no way God told me to leave. I got 3 kids. At the time, 2 kids. Like, there's no way. But there was a way. And and until I was like, you know what? I'm really, and God knew I was serious. That's when all the answer came in, and it was so easy to transition from one situation to the next situation. It was so easy to transition from an unhealthy situation to an extremely healthy situation. It was so easy, you know, and sometimes you just need the extra push and the extra motivation, because once you come to the realization that you have to go, you just kick it into high gear. You just make a plan, okay? And you just execute it. You make a vision board of how you're gonna leave, when you're gonna leave. I really didn't even have that. But once I got into therapy, I was able to turn up the confidence in escaping. I was able to turn it up all the way. And I firmly believe that if I didn't start therapy when I did, I might not be making this video today. Like, I don't know what would have been going on, what could have happened. I don't know, but that's just what I believe, because I know what the hell I was going through, and it was exhausting and still exhausts me to this day. But like, it was not even fathomable. And so once I put my big girl panties on, the rest really just did what it needed to do. I didn't have to lift a finger. Okay, like, I didn't have to do anything. So in Matthew 5:31-32, Jesus is quoted saying, "It was also said, whoever divorces his wife except on the grounds of sexual immorality makes her an adulteress, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery." So people use this to justify staying in their relationships, to guilt you into staying in your relationship because, oh no, you're gonna be an adulterer. Okay, we were born into sin, baby. Like, that's the real tea. We were already born into sin. So why are we using this to keep toxic marriages together? I need an answer, Pastor. Oh, the Pharisees questioned Jesus, saying, "Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for any cause?" And Jesus answers by attributing that command to their hardness of the heart, which this is in Mark 10, verse 5. And then in Genesis 10, verse 8, it says, "And that what God has joined together, no man should separate." which these are the verses that they use whenever they're asked about divorce. And I feel like that's really not what they should be referencing when the divorce topic comes up, because it just confuses you even more. I was trying to find the answers in the Bible when all I really had to do was listen to God. Like, pray and be still and just wait. And then, yeah. Now, obviously, if you get married or want to be married, your intention is just not to get divorced. It's not. That would be silly, right? So it's completely understandable when you decide that's just not something you want to do. However, if it is abuse, if it is just toxic, you can't be thinking that way. And it's your due diligence to leave. So I guess it's just a part of my testimony that I was too conflicted about if I should divorce my husband or not because of religion, because of what the Bible says, because of what we've been conditioned to believe where divorce is concerned, and adultery and all these things. And like, at the end of the day, I know what's right and what's wrong. So all the other stuff aside, none of that really mattered to me in the end. What mattered to me in the end was what my kids would think, what my kids were seeing, what my mind started to do to cope. Those are the things that by the end of my marriage, those are the things that mattered. I didn't give a damn about anything else. So like, at that point, if I went to a pastor and was telling them about my situation and they started quoting Bible scriptures, I would have told them, you can hold that, okay? Because you can quote to me something. Tell me about Ruth, okay? Don't be sat over here telling me about the Pharisees and them questioning Jesus and all these things, because I don't want to hear it. You're not about to convince me to stay in this hellhole. Nobody could convince me, because God already told me otherwise. So I think that's really just the take that a lot of Christian women need to start taking when it comes to this sort of thing. One, you have to wake up and realize it's abuse. The next thing you have to do is get into therapy and get your mind right so that you can leave. Because a lot of the time why you don't leave is because your mind's not right. My mind wasn't right, so I couldn't leave. I was stuck. I'm confused. But the minute you're not confused, baby, ooh, you see clearly now. The rain is gone.
Jesus. And
that's that on that. So, I've been through quite a bit, haven't I? But yeah, the struggle was real where that's concerned. But like, Christian women, any kind of believer, whether you are Protestant, Catholic, Mormon, girl, Muslim, abuse is abuse is abuse is abuse, okay? So if that man is hitting on you or doing anything that is abusive, get the help you need and get out of the relationship. And that's period. Period. There is no wiggle room, you know? And the longer you stay in denial about it, the longer the abuse happens for and the more at risk you are. So that's my little spiel for the day. I love you all so much. I pray healing for you all and strength to exit. Okay, not strength for more battles now. The strength to leave. We are done with the battles, girl. It's giving soft life, and that's all we want. I love you all so much, and I will definitely see you in the next one.